Good evening, everyone. Just saying hello again from Sydney, Australia. I would just like to continue my conversation with you about anxiety. What we're going to speak about now is just a few more symptoms without the acronyms, just to be able to ask yourself, can I relate to any of the following? Just to be able to understand yourself a little bit better. So when we think about symptoms, we think about, do you at times feel like you're doing life and you're feeling frantic? And I think that's an important question. Do you feel like in your day-to-day, you don't just get to do X, Y, and Z, but you're frantically doing X, Y, and Z? And I think that's an opportunity to stop and actually ask yourself, why is what I'm doing frantic? And what about what I'm doing actually makes it feel frantic, to help you actually isolate what is the thing that's driving the anxiety. And it'll often present as a little motor inside your body. So in clinical terms, we'll call it psychomotor agitation. But what it actually means is like you've got a little motor inside your body, and you can often feel it in your stomach or your upper abdomen or your chest area. And it just feels like it's constantly telling you to go, 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 go. And that breeds that restless feeling, that difficulty sitting still, and it just feels like you've got to keep moving, because what it's actually doing is generating energy. And that's why doctors, therapists, psychiatrists will always prescribe exercise for anxiety without a doubt. Because why? Because anxiety is energy. So if you don't get rid of the energy, it stays. And if it stays, it just grows. And you will often find it in, who are those people that struggle to sit still? That you'll never see them just lying on a couch reading a book, or just taking some time out being still, because there's so much of that psychomotor agitation. They can't be still, because the being still makes them feel even more anxious, because it makes them aware of how much there's an internal motor. Okay. What we also find is a dry mouth. So if you're somebody that you're constantly thirsty and there's no reason for that thirstiness, in other words, you haven't exercised a lot, it's not an incredibly hot day, on a neurological level, your thirst levels actually increase when you're more anxious. And from that perspective too, you will find that's also linked to anxiety. Often stomach pains, if there's no neurological reason, there's no physical reason, if you've been checked out and you've had ultrasounds or x-rays and there's no reason to rule out any stomach pains, it's usually because the gut nervous system is linked to the neurological nervous system for psychological health. So from that perspective, you'll often find, and it presents a lot with children, right? Sore tummies, they'll often complain of sore tummies when they're nervous about things. If you think about even as an adult, when you're going in for a job interview, writing some form of exams, or just presenting itself with new experiences, the stomach is usually going to feel that. And that usually can culminate in pains, in diarrhea. It usually signals for you that your nervous system is actually exacerbated here and on fire. Okay. There's also often shaking in the hands, and that shaking in the hands is just the nervous system that's creating neurological nerve fibers to heighten. And then sometimes people even have restless legs, and the restless legs are actually more prominent in the evenings. And we can see there's so much of anxiety is actually linked to movement. So I think if we summarize the key of today's session, the real question is, are you find that your body is just struggling to be still, and it feels like you constantly need to move it? And if that is the truth, then maybe you should consider looking at what your stress and your anxiety levels are as the first step. And then the second step, consider looking at what is actually driving it, to see if you can make some changes in your life. I hope that helps. Feel free, please, to make any comments or questions or add anything. My email address jt.therapy@gmail.com. Take care.